All right, folks, time for another Starbase summary. Greetings from southbound on Interstate 95. I'm on the road, heading down to the Cape and then heading over to Starbase. This episode brought to you by a 24-hour delay of New Glenn. I don't have to stick around for it. Kicking it off over here, looking at Booster 14, the Cowbells have been removed. Those are vents, and the Cowbells were sort of thrust deflectors that would deflect that venting in a certain direction. Over here at the production site, there's some catch pins that we saw showing up on Ship 33. Think they're non-functional, likely just there to see how they survive. Maybe they couldn't actually catch the ship or hold the load of the ship. They're probably more of a thermal test bed than anything else. But massive thanks to Mary for catching those new bits of hardware. Over at the Starfactory, we're looking at some Nosecones again. Moving right along with Nosecone work, as you do. Always interesting. It's almost like they're trying to make the molecular formula for caffeine on some of those. It looks like there's like drawings of molecules or something. I don't know. Some chemist can tell me what those are actually called. But the parade of Nosecones in the Starfactory, always great to get a glimpse of those in the evening time. Here's Ship 33. If you've been keeping up with what's going on live over on Starbase Live, you know it's already out and has been stacked and other things, but here they were preparing it for rollout from the Mega Bay. It was tough weather. Like, look at the views here. We got rain. We had water in cameras. It has been tough the last couple days. Keeping a close eye on the solar power as well as we come up to launch. But you can see, it's dripping on the ground right now, like actively raining. Look at those water spots on the lens. But here they go, rolling it out in the rain, as they do at Starbase. Clean room? What? No, that's not a thing. They just roll it out in the rain. We'll see how that works out for them here as we come up to launch. Passing our highway site here, this view is going to be operated by the fantastic operators over at Starbase Live. I assume a good number of y'all keep up with Starbase Live on occasion. Maybe you just have an hour here or there and you hop in and chat with other people about what's going on at Starbase. I know that right now I don't want to drive the truck in that muddy area because that's how you get stuck when you're trying to work on cameras at highway. You got to put on your big mud boots and park on the side of the road and muck your way over to the cameras if you got to work on them when it's that wet out there. But it's actually like a modern art sort of thing, like AI eat your heart out with the lens flares there, I guess. Is it really a lens flare if it's through water? I'm not sure. One way or the other. But here, Boca Chica Gal, a human-operated camera, could keep the lens clean because it doesn't have to be out there 24/7. So a fantastic view from Mary here as it approaches the launch site. God, look at the water. I mean, the water's blowing sideways, and it's just pouring off of the ship. Look at it coming off the flap there. You really got to hope that ship is buttoned up. Remember the shuttle? How the shuttle would have some issue with the TPS and water getting into the TPS, then it'd have to dry out because you want to go into orbit, and then have the water boiling off, yada, yada, yada. Very curious to see how that works for Starship. I don't know if they need to let that thing dry out. But here's a big controversial thing. We got Booster 12 sneaking around the corner from the rocket garden going into the Mega Bay. Does that mean that it's going to be upgraded? Flown again? Or does another future await for the booster in the Mega Bay? I guess there's one way to find out. We're going to keep watching what is happening out there at Starbase. There it goes in. Got those grid fins tilted. Are the grid fins going to come off? Is it going to get shorter? What sort of torch will approach it? Looks like a Ship 35 forward dome section. I'm going to assume we've been keeping track of that, and there's a label somewhere, because look at the weather still. God, this booster rolling in the foreground, little section rolling in the background. Here's the garage door closing. It's going to be on Mega Bay 2 back there. The big lift truck there on the right-hand side. Aha. That's B-14.1, an early test tank there moving into the high bay. I say early. I mean, what is early in the Starship program, really, right? It's like, seems like yesterday they were just doing hops. But it's like they removed it from the stand. There you saw it pick up, and then you saw the stand go back to the back again. Checking in on a foggy day over here at Orbital Pad A. You can see Ship 33 there with the decals on it. Got a little Mechazilla action there. But look you can't even see the top of the towers there. I mean, well, the first tower you can't see because it's cropped out, but the second tower is because it's foggy or low-hanging clouds. It's a little bit of a Cybertruck meetup out there, too. Saw some different colored Cybertrucks all getting together. Here you go. Look at this. They have the full stack on the back of that Cybertruck. Neat. But on occasion, before launches, we see them sort of coalesce from all over, and they do Cybertruck meetups. Hey, this is new. I don't know if I've pointed this out in the video, but they've installed these beach warning lights. I've got some comments about the protection of the cables on this, and there's some very interesting upward-facing cable entries, which is normally you need a drip loop to keep the water from going into your enclosure, and they just went straight in the top of the enclosure, really trusting the seals or gaskets. But anyways, that's a whole other thing. Lots of deliveries over here at the tank farm as they fill up the tank farm full of propellant to support that launch. This is before Ship 33 got lifted. What do y'all think about the new flaps? Like, look at the flaps when we back off. Do you like the new forward, sort of more angly flaps? It almost looks like an arrowhead. Or the older flaps. I mean, the thinking is that they didn't need that same control surface. They move them forward. They move them forward on the vehicle. They move them around the back so that the sides of the vehicle cover those hinges a little bit from the plasma, the heating that happens during reentry. Mary getting us some fantastic shots of the thermal protection system all the way down the side here. There's that. We say catch pin, but again, we don't think that that's structural. We think that that's just heating and maybe instrumented to see how protrusion sticking out the side of the ship there actually is affected by re-entry. But here we go in preps for flight, or preps for stacking, I guess I should say, preps for more testing. Very carefully, the chopsticks gently grasp the ship from the outsides, with the pins making contact there to lift it up on top of the booster. Looking around the top of booster 14 here, pre-stack, you can see that ship cutie there with the plate covered. And look at me. You should have been able to hear that PA announcement. I saw it pop up on the screen, so I was quiet so that you could hear what was going on. Clearing for the operation. But here we go. Mary once again getting these fantastic shots. Raptors there on the bottom of the ship. The spotlight in operation. The drone. It's a drone going up and down and up and down and up and down. They need to recalibrate the altimeter. The altimeter on that drone. It looks like it's having trouble keeping its constant altitude. It's shining a light, actually, to help them see certain areas. They have like little spotlights on some of those, if I'm not mistaken. It looks to me like that one is shining a light. Yeah, you can see it. You can actually see it. It's got like a drone flashlight on it to inspect it. Now, I don't really think that drones, I mean, maybe, are going to be rapidly reusable. Like, if you need those angles, you're probably going to end up with permanently installed cameras on the tower or fixtures and stuff. Maybe the drones fly around the outside. Maybe one day they're all automated and there's just a drone swarm that flies around the ship and inspects it and feeds it all into some AI recognition thing that tells you if it's good or not. The cooling mist you see here is the DSS, the Detonation Suppression System, just changing the mixture of air underneath the launch pad. You don't want a good mixture of methane and oxygen there, so they get some water and they get some nitrogen, and they blow it under the pad. And that makes it much harder for things to conflagrate or explode. See, all right, those flaps look wacky. I get it. I understand the physics. I understand, or I guess I basically grok the physics. I'm still using grok that way, by the way, of how that works. Wow, they look wacky, though. I don't know. Y'all let me know. Like new fins, old fins. Let me know in the comments which fins you prefer. Just give us a little whap, a little flabble whap here. None of those are English words, but I just said a lot of them. Speaking of, you should also once again have commentary in both German and Spanish. Quick thing to point out, that's not a translation of what I'm saying. That is Adrian and Alex's own opinions, own observations of what's going on in the video. Just like I sit here and tell you what I think is going on, what I'm saying, they do the same. They don't sit there and listen to me and then replay or just repeat what I say in a different language. It's their own thinking about what's going on. So if you speak either of those other languages, check out the audio tracks to check out what they're saying. Look at that! Oh, that was showing as it fills up how much it shrinks. Now, it shrinks, the mass of it compresses it a little bit? Is it the cold making the metal actually shrink a little bit? But that was that really fast back and forth during the wet dress rehearsal. Thomas, the editor, showing the difference. That's actually really cool. Nice one, Thomas. But here, after the wet dress rehearsal, which seemingly went okay, they destacked the ship. Put it back on the stand, and up to right now, it's still down on the ground, but that's going to do it for this Starbase summary. As always, appreciate you all hanging out as we observe what's going on at Starbase. Remember, it's not scripted or anything like that. We're just talking about it, so we expect you to talk about it too down in the comments. My name is John for NSF, and we'll see you later.